All right, strap in, everyone. Today's deep dive, well, we're tackling this whole digital transformation thing.
Yeah.
You've heard all the hype, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even felt it shaking things up where you work. But are we all even on the same page about what it actually means?
Right.
And more importantly, how do we avoid, those classic mistakes?
Yeah, the pitfalls.
Exactly, the pitfalls. And our trusty guide for this journey, well, it's a LinkedIn article, catchy title too.
Oh, yeah.
The Blind Man and the Elephant. Lessons for Digital Transformation. What do you think?
I like it. And it's surprisingly accurate. The author, they use this, classic parable to really highlight the dangers of like a piecemeal approach to transformation. It's a trap a lot of organizations fall into.
So let's refresh this parable for everyone listening, okay? We've got, 6 blind men, each coming across an elephant for the very first time.
Right.
One touches the trunk, another the tusks, so on and so forth. Each one, they come to a totally different conclusion about what this creature actually is.
Exactly. A snake, a spear, a wall, they're all kind of right in a way based on their limited experience, but none of them truly grasps the whole picture.
Yeah.
And this is exactly where the parallel to digital transformation comes in.
I was going to say, I'm seeing the connection.
Yeah. Companies often zero in on these isolated aspects, just like those blind men, and totally miss how interconnected everything actually is.
They're missing the elephant in the room, so to speak.
Exactly. The article calls these folks the pandits of digital transformation, consultants, leaders who, much like the blind men, are pushing these narrow solutions without really grasping the broader context.
Ah, the pandits. I like that.
Yeah, they might be fixated on, the shiny new tech, or laser focused on just customer experience, or maybe obsessed with cutting costs, or even chasing the latest trends like AI. All valid in isolation, but potentially disastrous if they're not part of a, cohesive strategy.
It makes you wonder, though, what's driving these pandits? Are they, genuinely clueless? Or are there, some deeper motives at play?
That's a great question, and it's one that's definitely worth exploring further. Sometimes it's simply a lack of awareness or understanding, but often it's tied to incentives. A tech vendor might be pushing their latest platform whether or not it's the right fit, or a department head might prioritize their own KPIs, even if it ends up compromising the overall transformation effort.
This is where it gets really interesting for you, dear listener. If you're in an organization that's going through this whole digital transformation thing, start paying attention to these pandits. What are their motivations? Are they seeing that whole elephant or just their own little piece of it?
Right, and that leads us to those 4 major pitfalls that often derail these transformation initiatives. The first one is, the classic shiny object syndrome.
Oh, yeah, we've all seen that.
Instead of focusing on a long-term strategy, there's this rush for those quick wins, which leads to investments in, the latest tech, whether or not it aligns with the actual business goals.
So what happens? What's the result?
You end up with redundant solutions, underutilized systems, and a huge bill for technology that's basically gathering dust, much like that elephant's trunk mistaken for a snake.
Ouch. That's gotta hurt. And it could be avoided with a little bit of, planning ahead.
Yeah.
So what's the next pitfall?
Well, it's ignoring the human element. Leaders can get so fixated on those systems and tools that they forget about the people involved. The employees, the customers, the stakeholders.
You got to bring people along with you.
You do. Organizational culture, change management, upskilling. These are the foundations of any successful transformation.
It's like building a house without a foundation. You can have the best materials, but without that solid base, the whole thing's going to crumble.
Exactly. And then there's siloed implementation. This is where different departments are driving their own initiatives without any kind of cross-functional collaboration. What happens is you end up with a bunch of disconnected systems that just don't work together effectively.
So the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. We've all seen that play out, and it's rarely pretty. What's the final pitfall we need to watch out for?
It's overlooking governance and risk. In the rush to transform, organizations can neglect crucial elements like data privacy, security, compliance, and this can, it can erode digital trust and have some serious consequences down the line.
So it's not just about embracing the new technology, it's about doing it responsibly and ethically. The stakes are high here, and the consequences of getting it wrong can be huge.
Absolutely. A fragmented approach to digital transformation, it can lead to wasted resources, demoralized employees, frustrated customers, and even a loss of stakeholder trust.
That sounds like a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping this article offers, some light at the end of the tunnel. There's got to be a better way.
There is. The key is shifting from that fragmented view to a holistic one. We need to see the whole elephant. Instead of chasing those quick fixes, we need to align our efforts with a long-term strategy. Technology, processes, and e-people all have to be integrated seamlessly.
Okay, yeah. Data-driven decision-making is critical, and digital trust has to be prioritized at every single step.
This is all making a lot of sense, but I'm sure you, like me, are eager to hear how this actually plays out in the real world. Can you give us some concrete examples of companies that have successfully implemented this holistic approach?
Absolutely. Think about a global retail giant that's, seamlessly integrated their online and offline channels. They created a unified experience for all their customers. They aligned their tech investments with their long-term business strategy. They fostered collaboration between their online and offline teams, and they invested heavily in change management to help their employees adapt.
And the result was?
A boost in sales, increased customer loyalty, and a stronger brand reputation.
Okay, so that's a powerful example of how a holistic approach translates into, tangible business outcomes. It's not just theory, it's a proven path to success.
Exactly. But navigating this path often requires, a roadmap.
A framework to guide organizations toward a more secure and trustworthy digital ecosystem.
And this is where the Digital Trust Ecosystem Framework, or DTF, comes into play, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I was wondering when we get to the DTF, it was mentioned in the article, but I'd love to hear more about it. What is it exactly, and how does it fit into this, holistic approach we've been talking about?
The DTF, it acts as a blueprint for organizations that are, embarking on these digital transformation journeys. It was developed by business and IT experts to address those trust and security challenges that are inherent in today's digital landscape.
So it's not just about adopting the new technology. It's about building trust and security into the very fabric of the digital ecosystem.
Precisely. And what's really interesting is that the DTF aligns with established industry standards like COBIT, ITIL, GDPR, and ISO-NIST.
Okay, yeah, those all sound familiar.
So it offers this comprehensive and practical approach. It provides a roadmap for organizations to establish, secure and efficient digital operations while also fostering trust among customers, employees, and stakeholders.
That sounds incredibly valuable, especially given all the complexities we've been talking about. But is this DTF just for tech wizards, or can, mere mortals like me wrap our heads around it?
Well, one of the things that makes the DTF so powerful is that it's designed to be accessible.
Oh, good.
It features an interactive guide that makes it surprisingly user-friendly.
Okay, so walk me through that. What does that look like?
Imagine an online platform where you're guided step by step through the process of assessing your organization's current state of digital trust. Identifying potential risks and vulnerabilities, and then implementing practical solutions.
So it's not just a static document. It's a dynamic tool that organizations can use to actively build and manage digital trust.
Exactly. It's designed to be user-friendly and accessible to organizations of all sizes and levels of technical expertise. Whether you're a small business just starting your digital transformation journey or a large enterprise with complex systems, the DTF can provide valuable guidance and support.
It's really impressive. It seems like the creators of the DTF have really thought through the challenges that organizations face and provided a practical, accessible solution. But I'm curious, what are some of the key areas the DTF focuses on? What are the most important elements of building digital trust, according to this framework?
The DTF covers a wide range of topics, but some of the core areas it emphasizes include data governance, cybersecurity, privacy management, ethical considerations, and transparency.
So it's not just about protecting data from hackers. It's about using it responsibly, ethically, and transparently.
Precisely. The DTF recognizes that digital trust is built on a foundation of ethical principles and responsible practices. It guides organizations to establish clear policies and procedures for data handling, ensure compliance with relevant regulations, and foster a culture of transparency and accountability.
This is fascinating stuff. We've explored the parable, the pitfalls, the principles of a holistic approach, and now we're delving into the DTF as a potential solution for building a secure and trustworthy digital ecosystem. But what does this actually look like in practice? Can you give us some examples of how organizations are using the DTF to drive their digital transformation efforts?
Certainly. We've seen healthcare providers using the DTF to enhance patient data security and privacy, financial institutions leveraging it to strengthen cybersecurity measures and prevent fraud, and even government agencies adopting it to improve transparency and accountability in their digital services.
These are fantastic, real-world examples of how the DTF can be applied across different industries to address a wide range of digital trust challenges. It's not just a theoretical framework. It's a practical tool that's making a real difference.
Absolutely. And the beauty of the DTF is that it's adaptable and scalable. It can be tailored to meet the specific needs and priorities of each organization.
This has been incredibly enlightening. We've covered so much ground today, from the dangers of fragmented thinking to the importance of a holistic approach, and now we've delved into this amazing tool, the DTF, that can help organizations navigate the complexities of digital transformation while building trust and security into the core of their operations. But I know our listeners are eager to hear more about how they can apply these principles in their own work and lives.
Indeed. We'll be back after a short break to discuss some practical takeaways and actionable insights that you can use to become a more informed and effective leader in the age of digital transformation. Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive.
And we're back, still diving deep into this whole world of digital transformation.
I think what's so powerful about this conversation is that it's relevant for, well, everyone. It's not just for those folks in, leadership positions.
You're right. It's easy to think, well, I'm not a CEO or some tech genius, so how does this even affect me? But that's, I think, a big misconception.
It is. This is about understanding how technology is reshaping, well, our world, and how we can all be active participants, not just passive bystanders.
Exactly. So whether you're in marketing, sales, customer service, operations, you name it, this digital transformation thing, it's going to impact your work in some way.
Yeah, the more you understand the big picture, those principles we've been talking about and those potential pitfalls, the better equipped you'll be to navigate the changes and even, contribute to a successful transformation.
So you're empowering yourself to be a proactive agent of change rather than just reacting to what's happening all around you.
Precisely. So let's shift gears a bit here. What can individuals actually do to embrace this holistic view and avoid becoming one of those blind men?
It's all about asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Don't just accept things at face value, right? You got to dig a little deeper.
Yeah. For instance, if your department is rolling out a new software system, don't just blindly follow that training manual. Ask, how does this connect to the overall business strategy? How does it impact other departments? How will it actually benefit the customer?
It reminds me of that time our company implemented a new CRM system. And they didn't really consult the sales team at all.
Oh, no.
It was a complete disaster.
Yeah, I can imagine. But that's a perfect example of what happens when you neglect those crucial perspectives and fail to integrate different parts of the organization.
Exactly. And that brings up another important point. Don't be afraid to, voice your concerns or suggestions. If you see potential pitfalls or areas for improvement, speak up.
Absolutely. A holistic approach requires input from everyone, not just those at the top. Reach out to your colleagues in other departments. Share your insights. Learn from their experiences.
The more we connect and communicate, the better our chances of seeing that whole elephant.
Exactly. And don't forget about continuous learning. Digital transformation, it's an ongoing process. Technology is always evolving. Invest in your own development. Stay updated on industry trends. Read articles. Attend webinars. Take online courses. There's so much out there.
There's so many resources available, and a lot of them are free. It's about making it a habit to expand your knowledge and your skill set so you're ready to adapt to whatever changes come your way.
I couldn't agree more. And amidst all this focus on technology, it's easy to forget that digital transformation, it's ultimately about people. It's about creating a more, human-centered workplace where everyone feels valued, empowered, and engaged.
That's such a crucial point. So be an advocate for change management. Encourage your organization to invest in training and support for employees. Foster a culture of open communication where people feel comfortable sharing their ideas and their concerns.
If we can approach this whole digital transformation thing with that holistic mindset, a willingness to collaborate and a focus on that human element, I think we can truly unlock its incredible potential.
It's not about fearing the future. It's about embracing it and shaping it together.
Precisely. Now let's circle back to that digital trust ecosystem framework, or DTF, that we touched on earlier. Remember, this framework can help organizations build that secure and trustworthy digital foundation we've been talking about.
You mentioned it aligns with industry standards like COBIT, ITIL, GDPR, and ISO. Can you break down what those are and how they relate to DTF?
Of course. Those are all established frameworks and regulations that address different aspects of, IT governance, service management, data privacy, and security.
So they're like the building blocks of a secure and trustworthy digital environment.
That's a great analogy. Think of the DTA as a blueprint that incorporates the best practices and principles from all these established frameworks, creating a cohesive and comprehensive approach to digital trust.
Okay, I'm starting to see how it all fits together, but let's get practical here. How does the DTA actually work? You mentioned an interactive guide. What does that look like, and who is it for?
Imagine an online platform where, you're guided step by step through the process of assessing your organization's current state of digital trust,
Okay.
identifying potential risks and vulnerabilities, and implementing practical solutions.
So it's not just a static document. It's a dynamic tool that organizations can actually use to actively build and manage digital trust.
Exactly. It's designed to be user-friendly and accessible to organizations of all sizes and levels of, technical expertise. Whether you're a small business just starting your digital transformation journey or a large enterprise with complex systems, the DTF can provide valuable guidance and support.
That's really impressive. It seems like the creators of the DTF have really thought through the challenges organizations face and provided a practical, accessible solution. But I'm curious, what are some of the key areas the DTF focuses on? What are the most important elements of building digital trust, according to this framework?
Well, the DTF covers a wide range of topics, but some of the core areas that it emphasizes include data governance, cybersecurity, privacy management, ethical considerations, and transparency.
So it's not just about protecting data from hackers. It's about using it responsibly, ethically, and transparently.
Precisely. The DTF recognizes that digital trust is built on a foundation of ethical principles and responsible practices. It guides organizations to establish clear policies and procedures for data handling, ensure compliance with relevant regulations, and foster a culture of transparency and accountability.
This is fascinating stuff. We've explored the parable, the pitfalls, the principles of a holistic approach, and now we're delving into the DT as a potential solution for building a secure and trustworthy digital ecosystem. But what does this actually look like in practice? Can you give us some examples of how organizations are using the DTIF to drive their digital transformation efforts?
Certainly. We've seen healthcare providers using the DTF to, enhance patient data security and privacy, financial institutions leveraging it to strengthen cybersecurity measures and prevent fraud, and even government agencies adopting it to improve transparency and accountability in their digital services.
These are fantastic, real-world examples of how the DTIF can be applied across different industries to address a wide range of digital trust challenges. It's not just a theoretical framework. It's a practical tool that's making a real difference.
Absolutely. And the beauty of the DTF is that it's, adaptable and scalable. It can be tailored to meet the specific needs and priorities of each organization.
This has been incredibly enlightening. We've covered so much ground today, from the dangers of fragmented thinking to the importance of a holistic approach. And now we've delved into this amazing tool, the DTF, that can help organizations navigate the complexities of digital transformation while building trust and security into the core of their operations. But I know our listeners are eager to hear more about how they can apply these principles in their own work and lives.
Indeed. We'll be back after a short break to discuss some practical takeaways and actionable insights that you can use to become a more informed and effective leader in the age of digital transformation. Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into digital transformation. We've explored the pitfalls of that, fragmented thinking, talked about the power of a holistic approach, and even delved into the digital trust ecosystem framework, the DTEF.
It's been quite a journey. And as we wrap up, I really want to emphasize that this isn't just about these, abstract concepts. This is about equipping you, our listener, with the tools and insights to navigate this transformative era.
Exactly. So let's try to distill all this knowledge into some, actionable takeaways. If your organization is starting down this digital transformation path, what steps can you take to help ensure success?
First and foremost, remember that parable of the blind man and the elephant. Don't get so focused on those individual parts that you lose sight of the whole.
Right. So if your department's implementing a new system, don't just focus on your own little silo. Think about how it integrates with other departments and how it aligns with that overall business strategy.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to ask those questions. Challenge the assumptions. Connect with colleagues in other departments. Share insights.
It's all about fostering that culture of collaboration and communication we talked about.
Now, let's touch on the DTF again. This framework can be a real game changer when it comes to establishing that secure and trustworthy digital foundation.
You mentioned it covers areas like data governance, cybersecurity, privacy management, ethical considerations, transparency, a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, and those are all essential components of digital trust. Imagine a transformation where data is handled responsibly, systems are protected from threats, and your customers feel confident in trusting you with their information.
That's the kind of transformation we all want to be a part of, right? But how can we, as individuals, contribute to this vision?
Start by becoming a champion for digital trust within your own sphere of influence. Educate yourself on those principles of data privacy and security. Advocate for ethical data practices within your team or department.
So even if you're not in a leadership role, you can still make a difference.
Absolutely. Every voice matters. And remember, digital transformation, it's not just about technology. It's about people.
We need to make sure that this transformation benefits everyone, not just a select few. That means advocating for change management, supporting colleagues through these transitions, and fostering a culture of inclusivity.
It's about creating a future where technology empowers us, connects us, and helps us create a better world.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into digital transformation. We covered a lot of ground, but hopefully you're leaving with a clearer understanding of what it really means to transform in this digital age.
Remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Stay curious, stay engaged, and stay connected. And most importantly, don't be a blind man.
See the whole elephant. Embrace the interconnectedness of it all. And let's build a future where digital transformation empowers us all. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive into the ideas that matter.